Oh, thank you, Harinath. One second. Okay, you can see me, right?
Yes, everything is.
Yes, I'm just trying to see the, one second. As most of you know, it's buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. And let's start with the Ganesha prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarva Kareshu Sarvada. I'm trying to see the video. One second. Okay, I see it now. Okay. It's a little bit early in the California, Los Angeles area, so I'm trying to wake up. But I had my coffee. See, this topic is basically buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. It's a Sanskrita word. I'll explain that. So the English translation I could find was, at least I could come up with, was intellect follows earlier actions. So earlier actions is the karma. Anusarini is what is in most Pradeshika Bhasha, it's called Anusari Suttade or Anusarini. Buddhihi is strilinga word in Sanskrit. So this is the word. So we have to completely say the word, like you can't say buddhi, you have to say buddhihi karmAnusAriNI. It's a strilinga word. So that's why it's the dirgha is there. And so one of the ideas in this session is to see what this is, why this is such a big tenet or siddhanta of Sanatana Dharma, or people who follow in India. Then this is applicable. Obviously, most tenets are applicable to people all over the world. It's like gravity. So it's not that, you know, if you belong to one community, it's applicable and things like that. So in when I was doing research on this based on Bharati Tirtha Swamiji's Sringeri Shankaracharya's pravachan, I came to know, I review a lot of Puranas. In that there is one particular one called in Sri Devi Bhagavatam, this shloka that I have on the screen. It's called Yata Yata Purva Maham Karma Tesham Tata Tata Prerayatya Nisham Maya Parabrahma Swarupini. So Prerayatya Nisham is one compound word. You can see it's Prerayatya Nisham. So I broke that into this kind of a prose. So ye ahankarena purva janmani krita karma kritamantaha. So whoever has done karma in the purva janma with ahankara. I mean, ahankara here, don't take it as ego, just take it as somebody with attachment. So don't take as ego. And for such people, the Maya Parabrahma Swarupini, you can call that Brahman, Maya, Ishvara, Vishnu, Shiva, all that, anything you can call. But in this context, it is Swarupini, it's a strilinga word. Devi, Anisham Prerayati, day and night, she will, motivate. So the buddhi is motivated by what you have done earlier. And the prerayati is meaning the mind or the buddhi gets activated by your own karma, what you have done in the past. Thank you. Of course, this slide came in between. So some of the slides, most slides are in good order, but this one, thank you, Harinath, and thank you, Sir Subarna Bhaji. Just wanted to thank Jignyasa for this opportunity to share my views. Yeah, this one actually I've been doing a little bit of Jyotish for almost 25 years. I'm not a professional Jyotish, I'm more like a research astrologer, you can say that. And I have a day job, and I don't, I see charts only for like main, some people, family and friends here and there. Some of these people that I want to acknowledge is some of the astrologers that I learned, and some of these pravachan masters. Swami Harshananda is very good, and Ramakrishna Math, he's about 90, I would say. I've not met him, but I listen to him almost every day. Many thanks to my Samskrita teachers, Sri Nagbhushan and Srimati Shobha also. They keep helping me with Sanskritam. So just a disclaimer, that's my email and you can contact me. And I'm not a professional Jyotishi. I'm more like a research astrologer, research kind of person. So that gives me a lot of leverage in terms of saying what I want to say without being politically correct. Any framework we can see, we can kind of dissect that any subject in 3 ways to kind of get into become a master. So that is, this framework is given by DVG and also in corporate strategy books. So one is the Shastra Pandityam, the subject matter expertise. Second one is Lokanubhavaha, so what you learned and what the real world experience could be different. Third one is Antardrishtihi, that is the key insight between to read between the lines. So we'll revisit this again, some of these frameworks. So this is the book actually in it's there on Amazon if you want. But anyway, this so the graphic here. Oh, I don't think you can see. Anyway, the graphic here is. I'll explain this graphic. What this so almost like a puzzle with the 4 pieces, and then in between is your Buddhi, indicated by the brain. Whatever that meat on the brain. These are my other 4 books also available on Amazon. This one is Pearls of Wisdom is basically Prashnottara Ratnamalika. It's basically a compilation of Adi Shankara's work, 67 questions. And the other 3 are Jyotisha. So we'll come back to this word. As I told, buddhiH is a Strilinga Shabda. Anusarin is, as you know, in most colloquial or most Pradeshika Bhasha, it is Himbali Suvat, Anusarusutade. I think it's there in many languages. I know 3 or 4. I don't know much about Tamil and Hindi. Buddhi is Buddhi in Kannada and Telugu. In Tamil and no, I don't know what it. I mean, it's kind of, they say mule illa para avanukku. So mule is born in Kannada, but in Tamil it's Buddhi. So just a joke. Buddhi illa nodu avange uchinan maga, they'll say, or buddhile chudadu elanti pichi panulu chesadu, Telugu. So I think Buddhi is Buddhi in Hindi also. So karmAnusAriNI is a compound word. Karma plus Anusarini becomes karmAnusAriNI. So in a way you can ask karmAnusAriNI ka is like a Strilinga question mark. Then you can say in answer buddhi. And this particular pravachan was given by Sringeri Acharya. This one is Jagadguru Bharati Tirtha Swamiji. The particular one I'm referring to is this one. In this, he explains Buddhi karmAnusAriNI in about 5 minutes. You can see that later on at this 17th marker, 17th minute marker. You can see. He explains about. I mean, as always, the words coming from these great pravachan masters, Jagat Gurus, are potent, and then they explain a very tough concept in a very easy to understand language. This one is in Telugu. In my book, I have a transcript of this whole pravachan. Then, so I use that in my book to further research further. So this is such a tough concept when I say that. If you tell someone, not only just India or even outside, forget outside people, for any Hindu or people in India, that so the buddhi that you get now is shaped because of what you have done in the past, they will laugh at you. I mean, are you crazy to say that my buddhi is influenced what I've done in the past? So people will laugh, but actually this is this is a Siddhanta. Siddhanta is actually determined truth or conclusion, not just something plucked out in the air and put put by some Samskrita Pandits and come up with some fancy word. It is not. So this intellect follows earlier actions or buddhihi karmAnusAriNI. The summary I've given like here in Telugu is I'll try to read that నువ్వు వెనక చేసినంటి కర్మకు అనురూపమైన ఫలాన్ని అనుభవించడానికి తగినట్టుగా నీ బుద్ధి పుడుతున్నది. ಕನ್ನಡ is easy. ನೀನು ಹಿಂದೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕರ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುರೂಪವಾದ ಫಲವನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಲು ಸಹಾಯಕವಾದ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಹುಟ್ಟುವುದು. In Hindi, you can read bija, you can do ankura is like a sprout. English, we talk, the intellect one develops in this life is shaped in accordance with the happiness or sorrow one has to go through due to karma done in earlier lives. So the most important connection is you have done something in the past, good and bad, so you are yet to go through that. So the anubhava of papa punya in this life has to happen, right? It cannot fall from the sky. That means the anubhava for a person to go through sorrow or happiness, there has to be an act, a karya has to be done. So for that person to do an act, you need to get a buddhi so that you go through like a good buddhi or a bad buddhi. So you go through the like consequences or the results of that buddhi and the action that you do. So first you think and then you do. So that's why the most important thing, buddhi is the most important. And as you saw in the Sri Devi Bhagavatam sloka, the most important thing is prerayati is prerana. Prerana is like a prachodane to buddhi. So right there in the Devi Bhagavatam sloka, you have an answer to the problem. Because the answer is already prerana means you have to do your prayer like a Gayatri mantra or something. So this particular buddhihi karmAnusAriNI can also be seen in a Subhashita book. Here is a source, Sringeri Sura Saraswati Sabha book. So you see many top class Subhashitas in this particular slide that I'm showing. See yatha bijam tata ankuraha vinashakale viprita buddhi. They're like nahi sarvaha sarvam janati. Not everyone knows every subject. And then you'll see jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Something this born always needs to end or die. So there's no permanent heaven or hell that everybody should know in our Hindu philosophy. So that is also jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu. Then you will see Atma Iva Atmano Bandhu, that's from Bhagavad Gita. So a lot of good Subhashitas. This is one of them. Yeah, so buddhi karmAnusAriNI, so that is the message that we got, but I was trying to find out more research where it is given in our Puranas or in any of the Granthas. So this is the closest I got, but I'll explain using various sources. So in Sri Devi Bhagavata Mahapurana, there is introduction given by Vidwan Ranganath Sharma. He was in Bangalore, Mysore, Bangalore. He was associated with Sringeri. He's no more. I think he passed away in 2000s. His introduction, he clearly highlights this shloka. So yatayata purvam aham karma tesham tata tata prerayati anisham maya parabrahma swarupini. So he has written saying this is very important, as you can see there. Purva janmadalli ahankara purvaka yaru maduttaro avarannu karmanugunavagi parabrahma swarupiniyada ee mayayu deviyu prerepisutale. So this is Ranganath Sharma is very well known, was very well known. His student was NVA, is a Samskrita Pandit in ITA colony. I think he's no more. His student NVA is ITA colony, Samskrita Vidyamandir Samskrita Pandit. His student was Nagbhushan. So Nagbhushan helped me understand Samskrita words sometimes here and there. And he told me, if it is Vidwan Ranganath Sharma or Heludre, we can take it easily. There's no need to argue. So I'm pretty sure these are all like given by top class people. So this Siddhanta is already there in our philosophy for thousands of years whenever that books were, Upanishads were written. But this phrase itself will capture the entire Siddhanta. Yeah, so this one is the Devi Bhagavatam on the right, and Yata Yata Purvabhavam or Purva Maham is fine. And that also you see na Vaishamya na Naigranyam Bhagatyam Kadachana. So this will go to some top class, or even it'll go to Brahma Sutras. So like the one I have on the left. So Vaishamya Naigranyadikarana. So for now, the whatever is in Brahma Sutra is kind of watered down in the form of Puranas. So whatever is in Upanishads is watered down in the form of stories in Puranas, as most of you know, because Puranas is easy to read, and then Puranas also easy to convey the message by any pravachan person, and it reaches even the person who does not understand Sanskrit or so it kind of reaches the person, a layman, so to speak, without going through the super details of Sanskritam and all that. So this one is the same one, Buddhi, karmAnusAriNI in Sanskritam. And then I was doing, like I said, I was doing research. Harinath, pace-wise, we're doing okay, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. So as I said, this one, when I'm doing research, actually I go and see where it is mentioned. So when I was doing research on this particular enigmatic statement, Buddhi karmAnusAriNI, I was trying to find out if there's anything like that said in our Puranas. So I have many Puranas. This one is Skanda Purana, and this particular one is mentioned in Reva Kanda. See, I have it on the screen there. You can see, and that particular volume you can actually pick it up in Vedanta bookstore if you want. But anyway, here's the copy of that page. So in that. See, Kim Karoti Naraha Pragna Preremana Swakarmabihi Pragevahi Manushyanam Buddhihi karmAnusAriNI. So it is even given in our Puranas. So the translation is there. See, Swakarmadinda Prerepitanada Manavanu Gnaniyadru Yenanu Maduvanu Modale Manushara Buddhi karmAnusAravadadu. So as most of you know, and here's the another source where you can go find in Subhashitam. Then it's explained in Hindi here. So here I explained that in Hindi from a source. So Prageva he means earlier itself, Manushya humans, Buddhi karmAnusAriNI. So if you want to use that in a sentence, that's how it is used in Purana. So clearly here there is some amount of destiny, they say, earlier itself your Buddhi decided, then what is the point of free will? So you need to be very careful when you read Puranas, not jump to conclusions. So this one, yeah, you need to think and act, but our Buddhi itself is reacted or influenced by what we have done in the past. It's not coming from somewhere in the sky. It's your own actions that is helping you develop this Buddhi in the form of different gunas in this particular life. So we can see that in our horoscopes. So the way you can substantiate this is look at the life stories of various people, track them. Like I read a lot of biographies to understand what is the motivation for this person to do something like this. Then you'll know there is a trigger event in their life that makes them that great person or a really notorious person. This Buddhi karmAnusAriNI is also given in Subhashita Sangraha. As you can see, Abhyasanusri Vidya. So Vidya is like the more you use, the more you become better. Buddhi karmAnusAriNI, we talk. Udyoganusari Lakshmi. So if you want to become wealthy, you need to work hard. Bhagyanusari is Palam BhagyanusAriNI. So the Pala is like the result of your karma that is based on the luck that you have, Bhagya. So these are all pretty standard Subhashitas, and this Buddhi karmAnusAriNI is also in that. That's the point. So coming back to the big thing, the karma siddhanta is determined truth. It's not just a theory. It's a conclusion. So this conclusion is like gravity, applicable to everyone in US, Russia, India. Doesn't matter if you're like Hindu or any other religion or any other faith or atheist. It doesn't matter. It is Siddhanta. So it is Siddhanta because it is not done by you or me or some guy who sits in the temple, some Purohit or some Swamiji that recently is born. So it is a Siddhanta already decided or tested by many rishis. So the fundamental belief is that there is a rebirth because of the actions that you've done. If it's not exhausted, that the soul will take a rebirth in a new body. So this is very difficult for a non-Hindu or a non-Indian to understand. But this forms the core of our Sanatana Dharma because you cannot attribute the effort to someone else. So if the body is gone, the result is still there in the form of Sukshma Sharira, and that will become your samskaras. I'll show you all the graphics. So the main takeaway is that the Siddhanta is not a theory, it is a determined truth or conclusion. And the fundamental Siddhanta is like I've showed here. Yeah, there is a God who's giving the results. Even if you don't use the word God, there is a mechanism. As you know, I'm a mechanical engineer, so there's a mechanism in which the results are given, but we don't know what it is. So our Purvikas, elders called as Bhagavan or Paramatma or Brahman. And then Astika is a person who believes in our Darshana Shastras. And so Karma Siddhanta, obviously, it is not a theory. It is just make sure you understand, make sure you don't use the word theory, because then people will think, what is this? This is not theory. This is Siddhanta. It's already Siddhi agide, they say in Kannada, meaning it's already proven, or it's already in your pocket, or the rishis have already concluded it as such. This slide, I'll come back to it later. So the combined influence of many is huge these days, especially with the social media. And this is also an influence on the people. So people's mind, plural, meaning bahuvachana. So manushyara buddhinu gets influenced easily by TV, and marketing, lobbying, and all that. So we'll come back to this if time permits, but that's, so this concept is not only applicable to individual, but it can be applied to nations and marketing, social media, everything. So performing, everybody knows this. These are all just summaries. I'm giving you the background so that we can go and show the slides later on. So this is all like Purva Siddhate, they say, like all background. So the Prakriti is in raw form that can become Vikriti or Samskriti. So in our Hindu Dharma, you know, the Samskaras, and then if you want to clean up your Buddhi, Vani, and Kriya, so you do your prayer and maintain some Suchi, not just the body, like taking a bath, but in all aspects. And then here are some examples. I quote all these in my books. So most of the information that I get is from various pravachans in Telugu and Kannada. Kannada, Swami Harshananda is superb. I have Bhagavatam volume, and then Bhagavad Gita volume. Sringeri Acharya is about like 70 or 60 YouTube videos. And lots of Telugu people actually understand Telugu, so they give a lot of free pravachans, and they visit US also, many of them. So it helps us understand, to put everything together. And this one, sorry. This one, yeah, this one is slightly out of place, but I'm saying that you cannot say my buddhi is already decided and stop working. So nothing is going to fall from the sky if you don't put hard work, if you don't work hard. So this one is a famous Subhashita given in this book. This person is Sri Abhinav Vidyatirtha Swami, the previous Sringeri Acharya. I mean, he's a top class Jivan Mukta when he was there. Uh, so we can never say that just because our buddhi influenced by what we have done that we are fatalistic. So one of the big complaints about karma theory is that it's like a pessimistic theory or pessimistic siddhanta. I use the word theory, but pessimistic siddhanta. It's not actually. So if you ask me which one is more important, your purushartha is more crucial and more powerful than what has happened in the past. So that particular this particular point is highlighted in the Subhashita. So the best men, though repeatedly impeded by adverse circumstances, do not give up what they have undertaken. So the adverse circumstances is a key word. I'll explain what that means in terms of trigger points or trigger events in a person's life. So this particular one, everybody is concerned or question like, okay, if God is there, how does he come into your life and help you or make your life miserable? First thing we know, God is giving you the results of your own karma. He has no partiality, pakshapata. There is no pakshapata. The word naishamya, naigranya, I saw that. Vaishamya, naigranya, I saw that. So there's no pakshapata, but he does not come behind you like a shepherd, then takes a stick and then emme kaisavnu, they say right in Kannada, emme kaisavantara banbitu ಕೋಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಡೆದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಸಲ್ಲ, right? So he does not do that kind of a job. So then how does he or she or it comes into your life in the form of buddhi, your intellect. So this is captured again by superb pravachan by Sringeri Acharya. This one is in Tamil, but I've given you the source. You can actually go and look it up. So the thing is, this one also is very good Subhashita. Or so na deva dandamadaya rakshanti pashupalavat yam tu rakshitam ichanti buddhyaya samvibajanti tham. So Ditya Vibhakti. So person, the God wants to take care, he will give you the right buddhi. So it's almost like tasmat yat purusho manasa vigachyati. So your mind will get activated. Tadvacha is speech, vadati, then tat karmana karoti. So very nice, simple Sanskritam, but explains the concept. And this is another one. The sukha and the dukkha you get in life is not being given by some deity sitting in the sky. If you say paro dadati iti kubuddhiresha, if you blame others that for your happiness or dukkha, it is not kubuddhi. It's a pretty powerful word. It's like your bad buddhi, you're blaming somebody else for your problems. But anyway, these are all like some philosophy or Vedanta or Purana kind of summaries that kind of helps understand this buddhi karmAnusAriNI concept. Again, I said we came back to this slide, which is the corporate strategy kind of slide. This framework is given by DVG, Shastra Pandityam Lokanaha Antardrishti. So what I'm doing in this buddhi karmAnusAriNI, I'm not an expert, but I'm just gathering the literature and connecting the dots. So make sure like I'm not an expert in Puranas, Upanishads, or any of these. But with some little bit of buddhi or intellect, you can gather, do a literature search, like a project, like a big research project, and then connect the dots. But Loka Anubhava and Antardrishti is based on your experience. So number 2 and number 3 is where I use Jyotisha, like I understand, read the horoscopes of various people. See, buddhi karmAnusAriNI, you can see outliers, how it works, because their buddhi is deluded, or they're so strong that they're really happy. Like, so one extent is like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, uh, like really pious person with Jupiter in fifth house. The other is like a rapist or a murderer who's in jail. For that rapist or murderer, he needs to do a bad act in this life, right? For him or her to go through the bad karma, meaning he has to go through a sorrow. So dukkha ಅನುಭವಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಆ ತರಹ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬರಬೇಕು. So that buddhi will activate the act, meaning whatever karya I do, then you get punished by the ruler or the king or the government if he gets caught. So this number 2 and number 3, Loka Anubhava and Antardrishti, you need not be a Jyotishi to understand this particular subject I'm talking about. You can form some conclusions looking at people's lives, reading news, reading biographies. But for me, it is very easy if you see the horoscopes. So number 2 and number 3 can be seen also explained in Puranas. That is Loka Anubhava and Antardrishti is given by a lot of Purana masters who explain in the form of a story. They won't say, oh, this is an example of Buddhi karmAnusAriNI, but they will say this story, and then the person who's translating the Purana from Sanskrita to Kannada, they will add some notes, or the person who's giving the pravachan, he or she will give you lots of information. So this is the way you look at it. So you see this Buddhi karmAnusAriNI working in real life also. So the way I'll give you some background how the buddhi activates in life. So most of you know this Sukshma or Linga Sharira. This is in Viveka Chudamani Panchadashi. So these 17 Saptadashibihi Sukshmam Tatlingam Muchate. So this is the 17 attribute. These are all mental constructs. So don't take this as physical being that you can go and replicate this in a lab. So Linga Sharira is a subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. This is not your gross or Stula Sharira. So in this, Buddhi is one of them, okay? So Karmendriya and Buddhi is it. See, Buddhi, Karmendriya, Prana. So 5 organs, sensory organs, action, 5 Karmendriya, Gnanendriya, Panchaprana, Manas, and Buddhi, 17. That is Linga Sharira. So Linga Sharira will go from body to body. It will not extinguish, because it's your own action that you've done will not get extinguished because you are still expecting some result. Yeah, so this one is another framework given by many yoga books. See, the buddhi here is given close to chitta, the atma. So almost like a lot of intellectuals think that they are themselves the great atma, but buddhi is not atma. Chitta is where your samskaras are stored. The manas is again showing here. The jagat is outside. Ahankara is it can be taken as Vedanta ahankara, not just the ego or anything. But anyway, you can use it for now. You can use it as I, like the nanu, nanadus, like mamakara or something like that. So, and this is the vicious circle or the virtuous circle you can do. So these are all standard frameworks given in books, and I've just summarized in the form of some graphics and my own input into this. And most of you know this one. I will touch a little bit of this. See, the gunas that you get in life will actually dictate the buddhi you have. So if you keep sharpening your intellect with Gayatri Mantra or with any of the Sattva Guna inducing actions in your life, you will become closer and closer to having pure or a dominant Sattva Guna person. So this is not based on this Varna is not based on birth. It can be based on your gunas. So, and if you see Purusha Sukta book, they will explain this very well. So I just had an excellent Kannada book on Purusha Sukta, and I am showing you that here. So this one I made the slide combined with the Devi Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavata, etc.
Yeah. One request is, some of these slides have good amount of information. It will be good if you actually cover all the information in that slide. For example, this slide.
Oh, okay. You want me to pause for a few seconds there?
And then I can cover all the important points on that slide. Please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, see this one. Yeah, I put a lot of information on the slide. So thanks for the feedback, Harina. See, Sattva Guna, again, this is all taken from many books. Devi Bhagavatam, Swami Harshananda lectures. Sattva Guna is pure form, and we can map this to Jyotish Grahas later on. But Rajoguna is the one that's killer in your life, like Kama, Krodha, anxiety, like trepidation, restlessness. So a lot of the killers have big Rajoguna, even the greed and etc. The worst one is Moha, Tamoguna, that I explained in my book. And Abhinava Tirtha Swamiji, Sringeri, he also explained Moha is that delusion, deluded, they say, right? That is the most, because you're not even sure what you're going to do. Rajoguna is like more of a Trishna or greed. These can be seen in Bhajagovindam slokas. So everything connects to gunas in life. The gunas are the one that's activating your buddhi. So in the Varna and Karma Vibhaga explained in Devi Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna touches little bit. And this Purusha Sukta book explains this. Lakshmi Narasimhan, I believe, he's author. It's probably like a 60 or 50-year-old book I had in my mom or my dad had it, and then I just got it with me. So the primary guna for Brahmana is intellectual, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, dominant Sattva and Rajas, because he still needs to do some activity. Whereas Kshatriya, it is dominant is Rajas and Sattva. For Vaishya, it is mainly Rajas and Tamas. He's a producer, basically. He can be a farmer or a businessman. For Shudra, is like Tamoguna is dominant. Here, I have to tell you, don't take this literally and lose your sleep, because these are all based on guna karma, not birth. So my first job was a Shudra job, actually. I started cleaning the bathrooms in October 1991 in Louisiana State University when I came to US. So I didn't lose sleep that I'm cleaning bathroom, because you have a dignity of labor. Even in India, I believe it's people are realizing that anyone can do any job as long as they have the skill set. So that's the way you can think. So I've done all four, actually. I've done all four works, actually, in my life. So don't lose sleep or this on that. Oh, this is, I'm in this group, I'm in that group. Just, think as a big picture, because it'll make you a better person. And this one is very important. This kind of explains the samskaras. See, samskara is a very, very loaded word in Sanskrita. You can refer to many books, many pravachans. So I summarize this based on Sri Devi Bhagavatam, and it is also there in Aila Gita also. So the strongest samskara is one where you want to experience something, you experience it, and you want to keep doing it again and again, like eating jamun or something. You like it, you want to eat it every day. It creates a big impression on the mind. It creates like a vasana. Like if you eat sambar every day, you keep smelling your hand, you believe full of sambar. So that's just an example. Weak is one where you kind of it registers in your mind, but you've not experienced it. So it can be by some amount of free will, that is mind control. You can get rid of that. But once it forms an imprint in your mind, the strong samskara is very difficult to avoid. I mean, very difficult to get rid of it. And there is a last kind that I found in Aila Gita, where it's the no samskara, meaning you basically you become secluded and avoid. So you totally avoid watching a particular TV, a particular program, because you know you, or even like talking to a particular person, because you know that person will influence you. So if you're away from that person or away from that TV serial, you're not going to get influenced. So this is like this goes back again to the company you keep, not only just in the physical sense, like your friends, be with sadhus or be with good people. Even the input that you put to your mind will, in the form of various this thing, like what you hear, what you see, that has a huge influence on you. And most of you, this is again corporate strategy, Porter's framework, so mind is in the middle, and your current state is Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and aim is to go towards Sattva. There are 5 suppliers that quality of input is here on the left side. The karmendriyas are on the right side. What is the quality of action? So the existing vasanas are the samskaras you have. And the more you go and seek new pleasures or new experiences, that is creating an additional vasana. Vasana is not smell. This is Samskrita vasana, like an imprint on your mind and intellect. So this one, I have a slide based on actually supply chain. See, the most important thing in life is the trigger events, how your samskaras will rise up and trigger an event, which can be a very positive event or negative event. These are the events that you'll remember for the rest of your life. So these trigger events, what are the trigger events? How is it triggered? So this one is also explained by many pravachans, and how the buddhi at that event. So if there is a yoga for loss, how does that activate? So that is the trigger event I'm referring to here. Yoga for loss or yoga for some happiness or a good action. So this is not like your regular thing. You wake up and do your brushing. This is not your regular events like nitya karma events. This is like big events I'm talking about in life. So whenever the level of order comes down, a lot of these comes out. So on the positive side, when you face a difficult situation, that means the water is coming down, your boat is sinking. A person with good gunas will be firm, will go through it fine, will be tolerant and all that. But the person on the weak gunas, or they will activate some of this jealousy, hate, and anger. So these trigger points are where you need to do a self-analysis. Think about it, like what are the trigger events in my life? Is somebody bothering you? Is some event bothering you? Whenever you see that or recollect, will it trigger an emotion? So those are the things. So all this actually explains the human psychology so well. So our whole Puranas is basically about mind and interaction with society, interaction with people, and what is life. So all this is answered by Puranas and Upanishads. But if you stick to Puranas, it'll give you the answers in the form of question. Sorry, answers. Yeah, any questions you have, it'll give you answers in the form of stories. So this is the graphic I had in the beginning, and the guy in the middle is the Buddhi is getting influenced by our Shadripu, is Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all that, Kama, Krodha. The previous karmas are there in the form of vasanas that is influencing your buddhi. And the external environment is also another input. So this four box puzzle is where, everything comes and attaches. See, the external reaction, trigger events is reaction versus response. You can think using your mind or take some time and settle it, and then use your intellect, not just mind. I mean, Intellect is another attribute of mind, but a better attribute of your mind. This one, the papa punya that you do is triggered by these four that we have seen: vacha, manasa, kaya, ardhana. The remedies also is given here. For speech, japa. For mind, you have to do dhyana. For body, you have to do like you will get hurt if you hurt someone. But you can do ekadashi and kind of reduce your papa in that area, fasting. Then like money, if instead of greed, you can do the opposite. So for the Shadripus, Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Macharya, the opposite characteristic or the opposite attribute is the remedy. So like greed, what is the remedy for greed? You give money to others, meaning dana, not just like throw it to some bad guy or give it for some guy to drink or something. It's not that. You have to do the opposite of greed to give dana in a proper way. This is from another Upanishad. So all karmas that you have, four processes I'm showing you in the form of gears. Utpatti, samskara, vikara, apti. Apti is like a result. So this is another framework how you can think. Basically, these frameworks make you think, and then you can actually take a blank sheet of paper and then think about it. So this one also is another framework. This is pretty standard one actually, but given by Sringeri Acharya, karma and its purpose. This is another project. You can look it up actually, called Vedanta 11 or 15. And this is an important one. So we talked about the samskaras, strong, mild, and weak. And they work in your life to make action, new karma. And the one at the bottom is Purushartha is your free will, and always the destiny is behind the screen. You're always trying to repair what you've done in the past by a new action. So new karma is trying to repair the old action because something is not right or you didn't like it, but you don't know what's behind the screen. So there's always a fight between Daivam or Adrishta and your Purushartha. So the result is not seen actually until the event is over. Even like you may not even know how much of Purushartha, how much of free will you have in your life, unless you do like a thorough self-introspection and understand how you progressed in your life and what is the cause, and you can have some spurious causes for what has happened in your life, but it's a lot of introspection is needed. So this one, I'll tell you, again, you can put this framework based on many number of things, but the framework I have here is the past tendencies are here, new action in the middle, the Panchendriya and the mind. It's called Shadvarga. Shadvarga has, 6 vargas. So it is Panchendriya plus Asamskrita Manas, or it can be a Samskrita Manas. It can be a good mind or a bad mind. So the mind already is influenced, and Buddhi is the better part of the mind where it is settled. And the trigger event is the one that actually causes the new karma. So you can call it as, I'm calling it as Vartamana Kala Ghatana. So I made this slide myself based on all the things I've understood so far in my research on that. So this is another framework given to you, meaning given with the addition of Shadripu. Shadripu, as we saw, is Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Here I have the Shadvarga. So Buddhi is here inside the Shadvarga. Shadripu is the internal enemy, the old samskara, and the trigger events. So trigger events, I keep stressing because you see a lot of movies, and you can do your own life analysis and see what triggered you. Trigger is meaning like what excited you in a negative way or a positive way. You see like the movie American Sniper. He works, he killed like so many people in Iraq. he comes back to USA. Then lot of things that trigger in the mechanic shop or in a party in the yard, triggers some events, triggers some things in his mind or in action. So the experience in the past will not go away that easily. Forget the past life, just even this life, whatever happened 20 years ago, 15 years ago will hurt. So coming back to buddhiH karmAnusAriNI, the substantiation slokas, you can see this is Viveka Chudamani, and you can see this in Swami Ranganathananda book, or any good books you can see. There is one particular book, Samskrita Bhashya of Viveka Chudamani. Viveka Chudamani is a grantha written by Swami Adi Shankaracharya, as most of you know. In this, actually, there is almost like a substantiation of buddhiH karmAnusAriNI in these slokas. So this again, I was reading it and just wanted to get everything out of it. So I put that in the form of slide. It's there in my book also. So karoti karmanyapi purva vasana punya apunyani. Punya and apunya is like a papa. Cha tatphalani bhungte. So your own purva vasana will give you prachodhana to your mind, like will activate your brain or with your buddhi, and then cha tatphalani, so the results of that karma will be enjoyed. Bhungte is you are the guy who's going to enjoy or suffer the bhukti of such an event or such a thing. And buddhi again is a luminous reason, another definition of buddhi. The gross or the gross buddhi is the infant and where it's still developing. The subtler buddhi is what most of us are here. Like you can be artist, carpenter, nurse. So this is what you see, like problem solving, skill set and all that. And this one is the purest buddhi, like say, think about like Ramana Maharshi or Swami Vidyatirtha Swamiji or Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So this is like very difficult to get to this stage. Susukshma buddhi, they say. Asakta buddhi is like free of attachment, or Vishuddha buddhi, it's like a Visheshana they used. And in Bhagavad Gita, I quote these shlokas. You can go and see like 18 chapter 30, 31. So it's of Satvika buddhi, Rajasi buddhi, and Tamasi buddhi. So these are the three gunas and the different kinds of buddhi you have. So this also gives you another framework, how to analyze the buddhi, or what are the deeper levels of analysis of buddhi. So I'll go now to, we're doing okay on time, right?
Yes, Manju, it is fine.
Okay, yeah. So now I think I've given you a lot of background on buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. Now I'll go to a little bit of Jyotish and see if it is working. Like I said, you don't need to be a Jyotishi to buy this argument that your buddhi is influenced by previous karmas. I 100% believe in it. For me, the verification part becomes easier because of Jyotish, as I said before. You can be a big believer in this without being a Jyotishi. I just want to make sure that if you go read Puranas, you'll be able to know. Like for example, like why did Ravana get such a bad buddhi to kidnap Sita Devi? That is again buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. He did not even listen to Marich, his son. Then why did Indra in the middle of great power, he got some stupid buddhi and then he got a shapa from Brihaspati. So many stories in Puranas explain this. You can see this in real life also. Vinashakale Viparita Buddhi. Some people like in power, they do some stupid things and regret for the rest of their life. And even like a regular Joe, regular Jane, or whatever regular person will do a lot of stupid things and regret for the rest of the life because the buddhi is influenced in a bad way. So for a subject matter expertise, I want to show this slide, my favorite. If you're if you're a geologist, you need to know which ore you're seeing, which which iron ore or gold ore, unless you are a geologist who's a subject matter expertise, you will not be able to understand. So a lot of these fashionable people will say Jyotish is junk, astrology, astrology is junk. First of all, they don't know what astrology is, but they'll just make these statements. So this one is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Same thing. And I wanted to show you this slide so that I explain how I define life. Panchadashi is again Swami Vidyaranya's work, beautiful work. So in that he causes, it gives you the creation and all that, Brahman and all that. But like summary of that is like this example I came up with, how to define life. So the unrolling of a painted canvas, and then the free will to make modifications to that painting. They call pata, I think, in batte or painting canvas. You can rolled up carpet, rolled up batte in Kannada, or here I think they call pato yata pataha or something like that. That's the canvas. So this is my definition of life, at least. So both a lot of the prarabdha works, free will works, and your prayer also works. And I'll come to Jyotish. I mean, we are already in that. The Phala Jyotisha is the predictive astrology. Hindu astrology has no connection to Western astrology, which uses a tropical zodiac. So most of us are worried about Phala Jyotisha because we want like quick solutions to the problems in our life. The Siddhanta is like Lagada Maharshi. He will talk about the position of moon, the years, the cycle, and all that. That is the almost like astronomy, mathematics. Aura is where Phala Jyotisha. Samhita is like earthquake, weather events. But right now, focus is on Phala Jyotisha or predictive astrology. So before you become a Jyotisha, or even if you have interest, there are a couple of books I want to highlight. This person, Dr. SBR, actually he was my teacher in National College, great guy, great person. You can read this book. He almost trashes astrology, entire astrology. These are the 12 zodiac signs. He also does not believe too much in Punarjanma. Karma Siddhanta Hagu Punarjanmu Anumanaspadave. He's a great person, by the way. He does a lot of research in astronomy. He's in his 70s, I think. You can look him up. He is a very well-known person in Bangalore. Dr. SBR, S. Balachandra. This one, same book, I have the book in astrology. You believe it or not, he will literally take apart all the astrologers, all the mundane astrologers who predict some big events and how bad they've gone. And then he also gives some combinations which do not work. So it's a very good, good way to think whether astrology works or not. I've been doing astrology for 25 years and I believe it works. On the individual charts, it works quite a bit, more than 70%. There's a big free will also in life. So Dr. SBR also dings or like has a slightly negative view on this karma theory. Again, the theory they say, but I am saying it's Siddhanta, as you know in the beginning. It is not a suspect is given, proved by logic and proved by given in Shruti, given in Bhagavad Gita also, and proved, and the rebirth theory is proved by logic alone. But just by logic, they'll prove all these Nyaya Shastra Pandits, and you can do Mimamsa books, you can see. So again, this one, a lot of the intellectuals will trash talk God and astrology. But this one is, he's a famous astrophysicist in USA, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He dings God here because for them, God is like they have not studied anything other than their Christian philosophy books. They must have studied some Greek philosophy also. They almost debunk God regularly on TV and YouTube and other places. Here actually is discuss astrology and he's saying it's just nonsense. Even like a UK professor, there's a guy called physicist called Brian Cox, he also dinks or has a very negative view on astrology because they have not studied they have not studied Hindu Jyotisha. Here, actually, in this particular video where my cursor is, he casually says moon is retrograde. Even a regular guy, astronomy guy, not astrology, astronomy guy knows moon is never retrograde. But anyway, he probably misspoke. So the big takeaway from this slide is planets do not influence human affairs. They have no gravity influence on you or your mind, and they are just indicators of time. You are the cause and you are the karta, you are the bhokta. So yaha karta saha bhokta, they say in Sanskrit. So you are the one who's doing the work, you are the one. So planets are just giving you correlation if you see that it is not causing anything. So you might see if you go to a doctor with a stomach ache, yeah, he can ask 20 diagnoses. If you come with the same stomach ache, to me, I'll say it is happening because of something in your chart, in your horoscope. So planets are not controlling your life. Planets are indicators of time. So if anything you learn today, make sure you don't blame planets for the misery or the happiness you're going through in your life. It is your own karma that is doing it. So think about this: people who trash talk astrology have not studied it. But if you study astrology, also you have to go to a research angle and see, and not like totally become influenced that everything is seen in chart, everything is determined by fate. It is not. So some background I'll give you. So this is the zodiac 360 degrees, and as you know, there are 12 signs: Mesha, Vrishabha, Mithuna, and all these. Vrishika, Dhanu Rashi, Makara, Kumbha, and Meena. So this is 12 signs. So 360 degrees is 360 degrees is divided into 12 signs, right? So each one is 30. So Rashi Pala that you see in paper, like Deccan Herald, Indian Express, Hindu, gives you Rashi Pala based on your moon sign. And your moon sign, based on Indian astrology or Hindu astrology, is sidereal zodiac. Nirayana Paddhati, they say, because we subtract Ayanamsha from the actual position because of the tilt of the Earth's axis. Whereas the sun sign you see in like Deccan or then is based on tropical zodiac. So you basically don't even know what your nakshatra, what your Chandra Rashi is. Then one paper you study this one paper you read this moon Rashi Pala or in YouTube or in Panchanga. And another one you see the sun sign and get confused. So if you totally mix and match, so without knowing Jyotish in detail, your itself is completely lost. How can you divide the people of the planet into 12 signs? Think about it. Doesn't even make sense. So we have 27 nakshatras in Jyotisha, as most of you know. Each one has 4 quarters, 4 padas, that giving you 108. So finer division. So instead of 12, we have 27. Even the 27. So the entire zodiac is divided into 108. So this, like for example, if say Kanya Rashi, Chitta Nakshatra, first pada and second pada is in Kanya, third pada and fourth pada is in Tula, Libra. So like that, you have to know. So these are all like most people in India, if they have ever done a Kundali or chart, they will know their Rashi and they will know that this thing. So again, this is the same zodiac. You can show the zodiac in a square form, circular form, diamond form. I'm just showing in the South Indian format. So here's important for people who know math. Actually, this entropy, information theory and entropy. Entropy is second law of thermodynamics, but information theory is given by some 1950s Bell Labs guy called Shannon. He developed the theory. So this one, basically, I'm using this to show how important the precision of the birth time is. So if you generate, if you want better predictions from Hindu astrologer, you provide accurate birth time. And here's an example. So if somebody comes and says you passed or failed, that is one bit of information. But if you have like 5 grades A, B, C, D, F, that is 2.3 bits. This is, I think, in log 2 base. So if you give more detail, it's more information. But if you give like, oh, okay, I obtained 76 out of 100, that is even more detail, even more information you're giving to the student. So this is another loaded chart. Let me explain. I just made this chart. So the maximum information one gets reading an astrology column in newspaper is 1 unit. So I'm using log 12, base 12, because it gives you a round number. So if your entire population is divided into 12 types, and then you get the information is 1 unit. So just think about it, like there are like thousands of varieties of people. You don't need astrology, you don't need Bhagavatam, you don't need any philosophy books to know. There are thousands and thousands of variety of people in the world. Not only it's shown by their actions, it's shown by their karma they do, or the life they're doing, the life they're leading, both the ups and downs, and the extreme outliers of life, the cricketers, the basketball stars, and the other end, the rapists and the murderers, and then in between, like 95% of the people like us. So you'll see like thousands and thousands of variety. How can you divide that entire population into 12 types and then write a prediction in a popular magazine, be it like Deccan, Herald, Indian Express, Types of India, like Sudha, Taranga, whatever. It's just junk. It's utter nonsense. So this point actually is made by many people who dismiss astrology, but needless to say, they have not studied Jyotisha. They ding astrology. They say it is junk. I agree, because they have not studied, and you can never divide the entire world population 12 zones or 12 signs. So point two, nakshatra is even more accurate. So you get more information if you have nakshatra. I'm trying to see where my cursor is. Yeah. So if you get more information with nakshatras, you get 1.3 units. And if you have like add lagna, because lagna is the ascending sign, you get even better accuracy, meaning you will nail your birth time to within a 2 hour span, you get 2 units. But if you add navamsha, which is like 3 to 6 minutes accuracy, you'll get even more units, information units, 3.88. See where we are, 1 unit and 3 points. Such a big difference. This is a log scale, remember. So, so if you see this prediction in a newspaper saying like, oh, Mithuna Rashi person will have, the student will go to foreign country, he'll do well, or eligible bachelors will get married, someone who's not as a child will expect a child, because from Mithuna, from say Kanya, Jupiter is in 5th house for you, it is, it is very good, you will get a child or a good news, your education will improve. But if you say, if you take 100 Mithuna Rashi people, Mithuna is Gemini, and analyze their life, 50 will go well, 50 will go bad, 20 will go well. We don't know, because it can be distributed in any fashion. So without knowing the accurate time, it is another generalization of entire Mithuna Rashi people. How can you believe that? I mean, it is basically time pass, like time pass kalakai they say, right? So it's time pass. So if you have a if you have a better accurate birth time, that is better for Hindu astrology. And Loka Anubhava, I think it's pretty good one. The second part of the framework, you can Loka Anubhava, I said you don't need to be an astrologer, you can be a keen observer in the world. So this one is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So real world experience is different from theory. You can, this is the framework that I use to analyze horoscopes for any subject, for subject matter for that. So learn the theory of the Shastra, analyze your events, read up, and then look up the Astro Data Bank and do an answer. So you can use this framework to analyze any, like say Buddhi karmAnusAriNI, one framework, like what is the theory behind that? Does it work? You can go look it up in Puranas, Shastras. What are the stories They exclusively talk about Buddhi karmAnusAriNI. I gave example of Indra and then Ravana's life. And you can observe what are the trigger events in Ravana's life. So like Shurpanaka was a big trigger event in Ravana's life, right? So when you have a framework, it helps you analyze keenly. Like say, if you analyze Ramayana, Mahabharata, what are the trigger events in Duryodhana's life? What are the trigger events in Ravana's life? You will have a fresh perspective. And if you don't want to spend the time, you can just listen to the pravachans by great masters. They are giving you the information in almost like a condensed packet. Very nice. And this one is a particular one I like because this one is like really helping the social media. Vase bahunam kalaha bhavet. I have an example I show you. Dvayorapi varta. So in Kannada I say, iburu serkondre moorne on shraddha ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. So gossip is such a powerful emotion that you will talk trash about the third person. So Shastra Pandityam is basically subject matter expertise. For example, in this one, this is a shloka from Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, which is a book on astrology, Hindu Jyotisha. So Randresho Ripubhavaste Shatru Jeto Bhave Janaha Roga Yukta Sharirascha Balye Sarpa Jalad Bhayam. Balye Sarpa Jalad Bhayam. So Balyadalli Sarpa Jala Niru Sarpa Snake Bhaya Irutte. So in Kannada if you want. Based on if the 8th lord is in 6th house, Randresho Ripubhavaste. Snake bite it can be interpreted as food poisoning, drug overdose, or medical diagnosis. So this was written like thousands and thousands of years ago. So you need to modify this loka a little bit to understand how it works in real life. So that is your loka anubhava. So for example, this particular chart I'm showing you, all the conditions given is given as valid. This person, 8th lord in 6th, born in 1885 in France, Emily. Then she died of poisoning actually because her mother's boyfriend was trying to poison her mother, but she took the antibiotics and she died, unfortunately. So born in 85, she died in 94. This is still Balya, right? Like in 9 or 10-year-old. And right there, Rahu is there, which represents snakes in our Hindu Jyotisha. Sarpa dosha, Sarpa. Then you have some Maraka period, so that triggered. So this one is this one is valid. You can show some charts in which it's not valid, some invalid, but you need to know when the shloka is applicable. That's where your experience comes. So the sutra has to be explained when it's applicable. There is an exception. Where is there a Maraka period? All that you have to know. So all that for that you have to study Hindu Jyotish. So that's why I'm saying unless you study the subject, if you make a comment on the subject without knowing what good it is. Same thing like if you know semiconductor theory, integrated IC, NPN, PNP transistor, you can get some energy from sun. How will you extract it? You have to study the subject. If you don't know how solar cells work, you cannot dismiss it because you're seeing that solar cells work because we know we can extract energy from sun. And like 200 years ago, it was not possible. You can say, oh, but last 60, 70 years is possible, or maybe 30, 40 years. So like that, you have to study a subject and become a master and then make some conclusions. So another example of Shastra Pandityam, there's a Urvisha Pida is like a trouble by government. So you see many charts in this such. So I'll give you some examples of Buddhi karmAnusAriNI. Not every chart, every horoscope is Buddhi karmAnusAriNI because Buddhi karmAnusAriNI is only like when some big things, we have a way to analyze using the 5th bhava in Sanskrit, in Jyotisha. 5th bhava is Buddhi and Manas is mind, Buddhi is Mercury. Mercury is intellect. So, and then whatever influence on the 5th bhava, we'll know what kind of intellect this person has. So this one is not a case of Buddhi karmAnusAriNI, but I want to show you the wrongful conviction of Kenneth Waters. This is basically a bad prarabdha person, and he was in the wrong time at the wrong place. He got convicted, and then he was in jail for a long time, 18 years. Almost 18.4 years is one Rahu cycle. And this is a case of a bad prarabdha. Unfortunately, he could not come out for 18 years. So how karma works in life is explained by this case. Not a clear case of buddhi karmAnusAriNI, but I'll go to the next chart. So this one is Srimad Bhagavatam. Antardrishti is where I'm trying to explain. This Rahu Ketu. So Rahu is in between, and Surya and Chandra are there. And I explain how this Antardrishti works in this chart. This is a clear case of buddhi karmAnusAriNI. This person got influenced. She's born in New Jersey in 1994. Kumbhalagna with this Guru Chandala Yoga. So the buddhi has to activate in her life to go through a sorrow. Remember, our whole discussion is about buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. So she has to go through sorrow, but how will she go through sorrow? A yoga has to be there to trigger that, right? So how does the yoga activate in life? Here I'm talking about general yoga in a general sense. It can also be applicable in the Jyotisha sense, not in the Ashtanga yoga sense, okay, like a yoga shastra, just a general yoga sense. But in Jyotish, we have like Guru Chandala yoga, Gajakesari yoga. So this person, just by going to YouTube and Twitter, got affected. So she left to Syria. She had a baby with someone, then she cannot come back to US. So this is 100% clear case of buddhi karmAnusAriNI. So this person had to go through lots of difficulty in her life. The difficulty is not triggered unless you do an action that violates some of the rules of the government, or the violates, or somehow they are caught. Then they have to go through the difficulty. This one is a little bit out of place, but I'm just saying, like, if the same person can be born in France or in India, but they can see different results, because Shraddha can matter a lot. Shraddha is your bhakti, or your belief in prayer. That has a significant bearing on your life events also. So this one is another case. This guy is actually a very good, successful actor in Chicago. He got carried away. He wanted more fame. This is another great case of buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. So he set up a sting. He set up some fake news on himself by giving some money to some random guys, not random guys, two other guys. And then he got caught, actually. So this is you're like screwing yourself. You're already rich, you're already famous, but your mind is deluded by Rahu, and you want more money, more fame, you get screwed. So the alert media actually caught him. Actually, he was prosecuted also. If you want names, I'll give you some of them. I don't want to give the name. This one is one of the best cases of buddhi karmAnusAriNI I have. And I want to show one thing, like, say, if you go to, you can see my screen, right, Harina?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, so this one is the actual one, okay. Give me 1 sec. Just listen to it for half a minute, please.
No, we are not getting the audio, Manju.
Oh, okay. Anyway, now you're okay, right?
No, we are seeing the present. We are seeing the chart slide.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know how to get the audio, but anyway, the point I was trying to say, Swamiji there actually is the Sringeri Jagat Guru. He explains his concept in 5 minutes. He says, there has to be yoga for laws. So in that, he is referring to actual yoga in a general sense, because Swamiji is not an astrologer. I don't even know if he believes in Jyotisha. Anyway, that's not the point. So he explains superbly there for 5 minutes in Telugu. So the yoga for laws has to be there, and there is a trigger event. Remember, I told you trigger event, how life operates. So this is the chart of that person. So for us, when we get the chart, we load in the chart, in the horoscope software, we know what dasha that person is running. She's running Shani dasha. In 2018, she's running Shani dasha, Rahu Bhukti. So Rahu is in Lagna, Lagna is Makara, Shani is in 9th house, Dharmasthana. So like that, we can form a lot of conclusions. Then we know in Gochara is transit, where is Shani and where is Rahu, we'll know in Gochara. So this you will learn, like when you study astrology, you will know. So for this person, she actually lost her TV show. She's a very successful person. I just showed the chart in horoscope I showed. So she sent a bad tweet about regarding some race prejudice she had. She's a white person. She says something really bad about another race person. And so everybody took her Twitter, and then she got pounded. Really, she lost her job, TV show. This was in May 2018. So this is a 100% case of Buddhi karmAnusAriNI. There is a yoga for loss. You don't know when it will activate. Unless the person does the bad act, you will not go through the sorrow. But the Buddhi has to be deluded or triggered for you to go through the sorrow. And that is basically the mind decides, the Buddhi kind of settles it down, and it comes out in action in the form of communication, speech, or actual physical action. So in this case, it was a tweet. So communication is also a form of action, right? So this person actually went through that. So in this case, in Jyotish, we can clearly see Shani in Gochara was in 12th house, Rahu was in 7th house. So you know there's a public spat or public issue. Then the media, the more exposure to media, she got screwed actually. So her own tweet ended the career. So what I'm saying is, it is not the planets that is causing. There is a yoga for loss for sure. According to astrology, it is clear it is a very tough period in terms of the Shani is teaching her a dharma lesson. But the yoga for loss has to trigger somehow, right? So it is your own actions. So do not blame planets. Do not blame grahas for the stuff that you're going through in life. This is one of the best cases I explained in my book, about 2.5 pages. So the akariam is the mistake is made, and the person gets caught, and they go through this sorrow. Because if a person gets caught, and then the consequences of that thing is very bad, you will go through big sorrow, right? So this is what happened in this particular case. Then this one, actually, a lot of people, I don't know if you know, there's Zacchaeus Musawi. He was a 9/11 planner. He's the only 9/11 September 2001 World Trade Center bombings. He was the only guy who was caught. He missed the flight. I think 16 or 17 folks died in the as suicide bombers. This guy missed the flight and he was caught. He was caught for immigration violation actually in August, before 9/11 itself. So look at this guy's Buddhi. So see the red Rahu and Saturn is deluded, right? And he's going through a planet, he's going through Mercury Disha. For Vrishika Lagna, most of you know, if you know astrology, Mercury in 8th is tough dasha. So he had to go through some difficulty in life. So he went to the bad people. So the company you keep, which Shankaracharya and many Puranas explain, like the Bhaja Govindam, the company you keep is very important. They influence you big time. So that is the case in this case. He's already got a deluded mind. Then he went and joined a bad group like Al Qaeda or something. Then unfavorable dasha, he got caught. He's in jail now. He's still alive actually. So this one is a positive case of buddhiH karmAnusAriNI. Tom Wolfe is the writer, is a very good writer. In this case, it is excellent chart. You'll see many excellent charts in my book. So I cover both the spectrum, the good people and the bad people. So this one has a very good chart. We can make out looking at the fifth bhava, which is the house of intellect. Bhava is like the zodiac sign that covers the intellect. And this one is the recent one I told. This one is a French person. She's released from prison, I believe. She was in 8 years in prison. So in this case, what we can say is, this is not a horoscope. This is almost like a horror scope, not horror like is in horror movie. Such a tough dasha sequence. For when we see this chart, we get really, when an astrologer like me, such a difficult chart. So this one is in France. If you get the same chart in India, that person, if she or he is lucky, and if there is a good guru in her life, she can be a lot better. Meaning they both have to go through some difficulty. But if you get good guidance from a guru or from a spiritual person, that will help save that person from disaster. So coming to this life, I told you life is the unrolling of a painted canvas and then the free will, right? This person has to go through disgrace and loss of face, movement, and imprisonment. Kanya Lagna chart, the first dasha you get is like Ketu, after that Venus. Then you get from 89, you get 89, she's almost like 22. Sun dasha, Sun is 12th lord, foreign country. Moon is 8th, Moon is in 8th, disgraced. With Rahu, so mind is deluded. Look at what she did. She admitted to killing her own 3 children. And Mars dasha is another dasha of 8th lord in 4th house. So there is no sukha. It's only dukkha. Mars is a bad planet for Kanya Lagna. Mars is Kuja. And then another one, Rahu. Rahu is again in 8th. So another disgrace, another difficult period. So when you see the charts of such people, you will know destiny is working. Prarabdha is working. The Purushartha is where it differs from country to country, person to person. So the same person could be doing a lot better in India if she has a good uncle or a good well-wisher who will advise. But most people will not take the advice of like good people because they think, what do you know? I know everything. But in any case, I'm saying that this person had to go through yoga for difficulty, meaning the papa she has done has to be Yakarta Savabhokta, right? So she has to go through that bhukti of difficult period, but she had to do an act to get caught by the French government. So, and the act she did was she admitted to killing her own 3 children. So this is basically buddhiH karmAnusAriNI in action. To go through a difficult period, she did this akaryam. Akaryam is the bad karya that you do to go through a difficult period. Unfortunately, if you get such charts, it's for us also, for astrologers also, it is very tough. So giving you these examples to show how these life works. So I'll end in like 5 minutes. So the general conclusion is life is a combination of free will and fate. The owner of these actions is you alone. You cannot blame others. And in my book, I have like 60 to 70 horoscopes. You see some divinity working in your life to deliver the results of past karmas. So free will is still important. So just because we say karma siddhanta, what you've done in the past will come now, we are not fatalistic people, meaning we are not saying karma theory is horrible, is one of the biggest gripes from people in the West, that you're almost predetermined, that you have no free. This is not the case. We Hindus do not say karma theory, karma siddhanta is fatalistic. There's so much free will in your life. You can improve your life to a big extent rather than blaming what you've done in the past or what is happening in your life. So this is my kind of pitch, like say the number of people that, so this one, he's a Tom Sowell is a very good uh, professor. He's in Stanford Hoover Institution fellow. He says there's never been a shortage of people eager to draw blueprints for running other people's life. So astrologers is trying to run your life in India or anywhere. There's so many astrologers, they call themselves spiritual healers, Swamijis in Kashaya. They're trying to tell you how to change your fate, but they cannot change their own fate. So why do you want to go to them? If you do your Purushartha and prayer, you are on a path to greatness, meaning you're on a path to being a happy person. So this is one of the again, Sadashiva Brahmendra Swami is, I think he lived in a long time ago. The Swamiji highlights that. So if you plant a tree, like this one, I don't know what they call in Kannada, I forgot. Amla, not amla, something, anyway, banyan tree, they say, if you plant the seed of banyan tree, you cannot get mango fruit. So that's what basically this one. So if you want good things in your life, do good work, good karma, then you get good things in life later on, in this life or next life. So I'm saying Lord Brahma has not given any contract to any astrologer or any spiritual healer or Swamiji to change your life. So here, when I say that, I'm being a little sarcastic, because it's the bad astrologer who recommends like a $10,000 parihara that does not work. You can do your Vishnu Sahasranama, you can do your prayer with the sincerity, bhakti and with Sharanagati kind of mode. And if they cannot change their own fate, why do you think they'll change? They'll come into your life and change. So I'm kind of being a little bit sarcastic here. You don't need to believe an astrologer will solve your problem. It's your own issue, it's your own. He can give you a very good perspective if the astrologer is a nice person, he studied the subject. But a lot of them are not, because a lot of them have deals with the jewelers. They recommend gemstone, which does not even work. So if you want to buy a gemstone, you're better off by giving it to some poor person, do a dana. That is better. You get more punya from that rather than wearing a gemstone which has no effect on your life. Anyway, so all this I've told. So what is the, how do you sharpen your buddhi? We already saw in the opening. Prera yati, meaning you already know the solution. It's part, your intellect can be sharpened with Gayatri Mantra. Okay, so you can go through this various, like in Yagna, in Gita. So trigger point, I've told you many times, trigger point is very important. If you understand your own personality, you'll know the trigger points. So you can like do a blank paper and then find out what your trigger points. You can be a better person. So you can do a lot of self-help books. I have some of these in my books. You can get a lot of self-help books from the local Indian language authors, some really good ones. I would say stick to the biographies of people who have done well. They may have not done well in other parts of life, but just stick to only the positive part. For me, I stick to the Puranas and the Pravachans. Very motivating and helps you a lot. Then this one is a free Sringeri website, free edifying parables, a lot of beautiful stories, excellent stories, Abhinav Tirtha Swamiji's. And in this, there is an excellent tip how to deal with adverse destiny. Remember, your samskaras are always trying to wake you up and make you react, but with self-effort, purushartha, and develop strong tendencies, you can curb your evil tendencies. So instead of taking revenge, you can let it go. So when you do that, your adverse fate, prarabdha, ceases to be able to impel. Okay, so you will not make that mistake. So the yoga for loss will kind of subside. And Yoga Vasishtha also has the same message. So anyway, that's all I have for now. Any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Manjunath, for this excellent lecture.
Sure.
The session is open for question and answers. So anybody with questions, please come forward. Anyone with questions or even comments, please come forward.
Namaste Manjunath sir. Sorry, my raise hand I don't know is not working for me today. Namaste sir, this is Nikhil.
Okay.
So you have mentioned about this Purushartha and Prarabdha. So the question I have is, I know you have already covered it, but to what extent can we counter Prarabdha by Purushartha? I mean, if our say our chart already says that okay, there is a very bad destiny coming up, and some of it is related to our action, right? So, can we
Yeah.
completely counter it and make it 100% go away, or is
No,
it
you
that we
can.
can only improve the situation?
Correct. You cannot make it go away. If it makes you go away, then karma siddhanta is falls apart, which is not we are saying. Karma siddhanta is valid. So instead of a major accident, you'll go through a small event like a instead of like a major fracture, you'll go through a thumb that will get dislocated or something like that. Instead of like a death, you'll be escaped with a slight injury. Uh, but remember, the prarabdha is mainly related to the person, the family you're born in. You cannot control that, and the dasha that you're getting, you cannot control that. So if you're born in a family that immediately discards you, and you get when I say you, it's not you. Okay, so
Yeah,
if
I
that person,
understand.
yeah, if that person gets adapted by someone, that's not in your control, like Steve Jobs. And if your mother is sick based on the prarabdha you get, there is some karmic issue for that. So runanubandha rupena pashupati sutalaya. So the happiness you get from kids, the servants you have in life, the pashupati, meaning the husband or the spouse you get in life. So these are some of static factors that is given in Padma Purana. That Padma Purana gives a lot of these answers to the exact question you asked. Uh, some of it is prarabdha, like say that Satya Nadella's son, Zain Nadella, his prarabdha is very bad. His father is a great guy, CEO, but his prarabdha is bad because he's cerebral palsy at the birth. So that is like a case of bad prarabdha card given you in the beginning of the life. But for others, you can change. Like most 90% of the people, there is a good amount of free will. But the intellect that you get is also to some extent, this one is saying prageva hi manusyanam buddhi karmAnusAriNI, but you can change with self-effort. To give like a 30-40 or 30-70, 40-60, that's very hard because I don't have a technique unless I see your horoscope. To me, I found the answer in horoscope. Say, for example, like people with bad ninth house is bad prarabdha in horoscope. Like people with Guru in ninth house, Venus in ninth house, they are very good people, meaning they have a good amount of grace, divine grace in their life. So it is hard to quantify with a number. But for me, the answer I found was in seeing the horoscope analysis. But you can analyze your own life and see uh, Runanubandha Rupena Pashu, Pati, Sutalaya, your father, mother, you cannot change, your siblings, you cannot change. So the same house, there can be 4 siblings, 10 siblings, the relationship between their parents is different for each sibling. So it is an interconnected destiny there also. So it works. It's hard to quantify and judge, but to most extent, you can change your prarabdha by self-effort.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Okay. Hi. Any other question?
Namaste, Manjunath sir. So this is Ravish. I have a question.
Sure.
I wanted to understand, like, what is from your perspective. This may be a little bit subjective, but the role of, I guess, astrologers in general. I understand the point that you're trying to say, like, you know, he may recommend something which may not really solve the problem as I guess decided by the prarabdha. But in general, what do you think of the role of an astrologer in our society, for example?
In our society, in our life?
In our life, yeah, in our life.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like, I mean, there are both positives and negatives, but India is the only country in the world, fortunately and unfortunately, has this Shastra. And I mean, it's going to the West also. Many people have started using Jyotish in the West also. But there is both use and abuse of astrology in India because if you are a person with good horoscope or good purva punya, you don't need an astrologer in your life because you are being guided by a higher force or by a teacher, by your parents or by your uncle. You absolutely do not need an astrologer in your life because you have if you do your prayer, if you do your Gayatri mantra, and you get some help from your own inner strength. But there are times in which astrologer can come into your life and help you and give you perspective. So it's like going to a doctor with a stomach ache. Doctor will diagnose, there could be 30, 40 reasons for a stomach ache or headache. He'll go through some tests and diagnose and give you a remedy. So a good astrologer can give you a good remedy, which is a sattvic remedy, not related to gemstone or anything. And it will work to some extent based on how much effort you put to follow through the astrologer's recommendation. Like do Vishnu Sahasranama, do this for 42 days, do this Kanakadara Stotra, do this Purusha Sukta, do this Rudram, go to the temple on Monday. A lot of those things work if you do it with faith. But if you doubt the astrologer, or if the astrologer himself is a bad person, giving you some bogus remedies, it will not. So there's no exact answer, but I'm also saying that if you don't need to see an astrologer in life, just don't go, man. I mean, you don't have to see an astrologer in your life at all. You can be a normal person, be a good person, prayer and purushartha, and completely eliminate astrology or astrologer in your life, if you can do that.
Got it. Understood. Yeah.
Manju, yeah, this is a very insightful talk because our karma is appropriate to trigger the events. So our buddhi is appropriate to trigger the karma phalas. I think that is a very nice link. So maybe I am trying to link it. Let's say as a person now, I go to a wrong astrologer. Probably my buddhi drove me there to the wrong astrologer to realize that karma phala.
Yes. And if you go to a wrong astrologer, he gives you a remedy. Sir, nale ಈ ಶನಿ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬನ್ನಿ 15,000 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 9 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ, 12 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋಣ. You lost 20,000 rupees. And after 3 months, nothing has happened, right? You can blame the astrologer, you can blame Shani in the sky, you can blame anyone. But your buddhi drove to a wrong astrologer. It's your own fate that's doing that. Very good point, actually.
Okay. Yeah, because in my mind, at least till now, I used to think buddhi and all, okay, we are born with certain capabilities and we can use it. But how it is related to this karma phalas, I think that link you established very well.
Yes. So this is actually, when I heard the first time, I almost said, are you crazy to say this? Like, are you kidding me by saying that my buddhi is influenced by my past? So that's why I went to deeper and deeper, like Viveka Chudamani, Upanishads. Even in Brahma Sutra, it is there actually, believe it or not, some of these buddhi karmAnusAriNI concepts. So the buddhi karmAnusAriNI is just like a catchphrase or like a subhashita, right? The actual theory behind, like I explained in almost like 30 slides, is given. None of it is my uha or my imagination. It's already a siddhanta in our Hindu philosophy.
Okay, thank you. We have the next question from Pranesh.
Sure.
Hi, thanks. Manju, can you hear me?
Pranesh, talk a bit louder.
Am I audible? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So basically, I have just 2 points as a question to ask. Actually, one is how is that Viveka is involved in the astrology? Meaning, it's most of the times we have to make a decisions on the critical times, be it personal or professional. Do you see that? Of course, one needs a good Viveka to make a decision. Because most of the times in critical times, there might not be like this is the right decision. So, what is the better decision out of what is the least most worst thing that can happen? So,
Yeah.
how is that horoscope actually governs that? That is one question. Second part of the question is we see in many people's lives that many who struggle in their academia, who struggle to make like just to have passing marks, but later in their life and as they pick up, they actually make a huge impact maybe in the financial or in the fame or contribution to society. Maybe they pick up what they're best at. So I assume this is mainly based on Dasha Bhukti of that particular person. So how is it that the intellect, what you mentioned today, how we can relate that to this kind of scenario? So these are 2 questions I have.
Sure. So one is the Viveka, in which how does that play when you're trying to make a decision in a short period of time? How does Viveka come? That's your first question. Yeah, Viveka is settled mind. The more settled mind you have, it is better. Settled mind is nothing but Buddhi, right? So if your Buddhi is Satvika Buddhi, you will make the right decision. But if you're Rajasika Buddhi, then you will go towards what is your greed or your karma will take over and you'll make a decision quickly. See the difference between Manas and Buddhi, right? Manas is like a reaction, Buddhi is a response. So you got so Manas is a reaction, but Buddhi is a response. Response takes time because you need to think it through. So then you're going closer and closer towards Viveka if you do a response. Not respond thinking it over. Don't don't do a knee-jerk reaction. This also explained in if you see if you're going through a bad dasha bhukti and if you're not if your viveka is deluded, you will naturally blame the person, you will naturally blame on some other factor, you'll try to take revenge or you'll try to be rude to another person or be difficult on yourself and become even more depressed. So you should not. That's why these Puranas and this Gayatri Mantra, Vishnu Sahasranama will go towards purifying your intellect. The second one you asked me is, you see many people who have not done well in academics, but they do well in life. This is 100% explained using Jyotish Shashtra. No other science comes even close to explaining the life patterns other than Jyotisha. I'm saying this based on my almost 25 years experience, because this is a wonderful, wonderful tool. Many horoscopes I've given predictions saying like, oh yeah, you may not be a great academic first rank kind of guy or even, but they will do very well in life because their dasha changes. You're not the same person that you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So a lot of intangible factors come into life. Fifth bhava is for intellect. If fifth bhava is great, yeah, you might get good uh, marks or anything and then become good academically. But your 10th bhava is the karmasthana. Karmasthana has no, you will use karma, buddhi in your life to do karma. But say, for example, take the case of cricketers and basketball players. Their karmasthana is so powerful that their buddhi is in the side. They will do a lot of stupid things in their life using buddhi, like they have an affair, they get divorced, they'll do some stupid work, but their karma is so dominant that they become rich and famous. So those people are the ones who are danger to the society. You don't follow them, but just because they're famous, because their buddhi in some other angle is deluded, meaning they'll do some stupid job in some other aspect of their life. but they have so much money not because of their buddhi. They have so much money because of their karma, meaning what they're doing in life. So there is a subhashita also on this particular one. I'll find out and send it to you. So your buddhi has no bearing to the how rich or how famous you are or how successful you are in life. There is a connection, but it's not like a correlation. There's no like one-on-one correlation. Because if your karmasthana is very strong and if you're a person of action, most of the people will do very well in life.
Just a small follow-up question, Harinath, if it is okay, I can ask.
Yeah, please go ahead, Pranesh.
Okay, so first you mentioned about the viveka is based upon whether the person is sattvika, rajasika, or tamasika.
Yeah.
And whether you use manas or buddhi. Manas, when you say, what I understand is that it's mainly based on the emotions, whether you
Correct.
take it disappointment or anger or frustration. Buddhi is where the rationality comes and where your viveka actually helps you to take a call. And based on what sattvika, rajasika you are, the either manas or buddhi will be dominant and you take a decision based on that. If my understanding is correct, then whether you are sattvika or rajasika is again dependent upon your karma and kundli itself, right? So basically, does it say that the horoscope itself decides how you're going to respond or react to the situation, and how will the free will act in this case? It's just my
50-50. I would say 50% case your horoscope might decide because there's a prarabdha element that is strong. 50% of the case you have free will. Like I showed, like this Veronique, she had to go through difficulty. Her fifth lord is in Badakasthana, so her mind is a little bit deluded. So even if you give the best advice, she may not be ready to listen. But the same person in India could have had a different outcome, is what I'm telling, because the support system in India is different. So if there's an uncle who will give her good advice, she's able to listen, then she can change using a little bit. So I'll say even if your prarabdha is bad, based on your own self-analysis without the horoscope, if you do your Vishnu Sahasranama, if you do your mantra, Gayatri mantra, you're purifying yourself. So you don't need to depend, say my kundali is bad, my buddhi is deluded and all that. You rightly pointed out that moon is emotion, manaha, and buddhi is more of Mercury, kind of sharpen your intellect, as you rightly pointed out. I'm not sure if I clarified you. I kind of agreed to what you said, but there is no 100% case in which a person's buddhi is purified to. So I have one slide actually I showed you. I have that. Give me one second. Yeah, the thing with this one, yeah. See here, the purest buddhi you see in like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, because he has his buddhi sthana, whatever his Jupiter is in 5th house, is like pure. I mean, nothing attracted to him, and he is like purest satvika buddhi. For most of us, like subtler buddhi, we have some papa graha or some punya graha in 5th, influencing 5th. But if you have like complete punya graha, like a moon or an excellent Jupiter in 5th, they're born with, they will not actually, if you follow people with Jupiter in 5th, they are pretty decent people. They will not take revenge and all that. You can see that. It works in Jyotish, and for example, I have 2 Papa Grahas on my 5th and 2 Shubha Grahas on my 5th. So I can think really negatively or I can think really positively. This amount of free will in my chart because I have Shani in 3rd, which is Lagna Lord. So I have some amount of free will I can exercise. But there are a lot of times I get angry because speech actually creates a problem because I have Puja in 2nd. So I do a lot of self-analysis because I know Jyotish. But if you don't know Jyotish, you can do self-analysis based on your own trigger points and trigger events.
Thanks, Manju. So to just conclude, can I say that if we say Vishnu Sahasranama and some japa or certain things, the dimension for the free will, the margin for the free will actually slowly increases, and you start to move from more emotional to being viveka, and
yes,
you can outwit
100%.
the stars.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. I'll give you so many examples from my own life, from my own Jatka, from my own analyzing horoscopes of various people. 100%. If you do the prayer with sincerity, prarthana, your life will change. You can throw the horoscope in the garbage, you can throw your kundali in garbage, you will become a better person. 100%.
Thanks, Manju. Thank you. Thanks, Arini.
Sure.
Yeah, next question from Vadiraj, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
sir, you're audible. Yes.
Now, it is generally advised that you do some dana and japa on Grahana days, the eclipse days. Now, there's a relation between astrology and this particular advice.
In eclipse days, actually, the moon is, the mind is pretty, what do you call, afflicted, meaning eclipse, Rahu Ketu comes near mind because, like I said, eclipse, Rahu, Ketu, and Surya is near here. This is like an eclipse from Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So your sun and moon are with Rahu. So those are high emotion days. So they do satvika things on that day. Take bath, don't eat old food. All these are pretty valid. So I say, yeah, you do satvika japa. That is best. Don't do any like important decisions on that day because it's a high emotion day. Eclipse is like where your moon is eaten by Rahu or something like that. Rahu Ketu will be in that axis.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Fine. So we have come to the end of the question and answer session as well. And thanks, many thanks, Manjunath, for this
Sure.
excellent session. And
Yeah.
we had a nice Q&A session as well. So let us end the session with Shanti Mantra.
Yeah.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad.